Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by GhostBed.com. Yes, we are. Boom, boom. Welcome to Drinkin Bros Sports Companion Show. Kids, do I want to say that I'm a genius? Yes, I do. I definitely want to start off the show with that. But I am disappointed in UFC 251. Jesus Christ, Stan. That main event was a dud, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess I counted on, because I lost that bet, I counted on a couple of things. One, that Street Jesus would come ready to fight, which I think he did. What I didn't count on was Usman being a total fucking slaggard piece of shit. Like, it's just the most boring. I don't give two fuck. I'll never watch the guy fight again. Not because I care not because I care about the money, because I bet with house money anyways. Like, we've made so much betting that it doesn't even matter at this point. We could gamble a couple of fucking dimes away and still be fine at this point. But yeah, it's so fucking boring. I think a lot of these dudes are suffering under the delusion that their job is to win the fight, and I disagree. Your job is to entertain the public, bitch. That's why whenever people like Henry Cejudo do the in-ring fucking retirement, look, I'm just not getting paid enough. It's because you're fucking boring, dude, okay? Nobody wants to watch that bullshit. It's the reason that everybody knew that Khabib was going to whip Conor McGregor's ass. Everybody knew. Come on, let's be real. And still Conor got paid more from that fight. It's because he is entertaining. It's an entertaining sport. Sports are entertainment. Like, this is I think that Dana's really got to step in and do something here with these titles. You can't have a fucking main event, particularly now when people are so dependent on how sports are and getting excited about shit. You can't have a main event that goes like that. You just can't.
No, I agree. And, the first thought that I had afterwards was, I think the UFC misses Conor McGregor. And I wouldn't have said that before this main event. I thought they were in good hands with Street Jesus and these guys. But look, Cejudo is out. He retired, allegedly. He is out of MMA. Street Jesus lost. It is Usman's world, and it is a boring world to live in. And then you have Khabib. Khabib is boring as shit, and that guy never loses either. You're right, Dan. This is about entertainment, and to me, that was not entertaining.
The only fight that was entertaining. Well, I don't know. I guess the Max Holloway fight was pretty entertaining, but the Thug Rose fight, it was good. Like, that was a good fight. I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed the result, even though I thought maybe it was a little closer than some folks that I've read about on the interwebs discussing it. And there's a whole other story out of that, by the way, because Dana hinted at holding judges accountable for shitty judging.
After the Holloway fight,
yeah,
correct.
After the Holloway fight, because this dude's been robbed twice. Like, I've heard all the fucking blabber coming out of everybody now. Like, well, if you want to beat the champ, you got to fucking knock him out. You got to fucking submit him. Well, that wasn't the case when this guy took the belt from Max Holloway, motherfucker. Like, he didn't win shit. As a matter of fact, it was a split decision there, and a lot of people felt like Max Holloway won that first fight. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know. Maybe they just don't like this guy. Or maybe the way he fights looks better, and it could be us that's wrong, by the way. Maybe the way he fights looks better to fans than it does to the judge, who actually knows the point system and all that stuff. And maybe if that's the case, since it is an sport of entertainment, they need to change the way things are judged. I don't know what the answer is. All I know is that everybody that knows what's what is not happy about that fucking decision for the most part that I've read in the last couple of days. And it's like, at what point does that become a problem too? Like, it's the problem when you're the only fucking game in town. Everybody's looking at every single little aspect of what's going on, and you can't afford to put out a bad product.
Yeah, and I mean, look, with UFC, they have some of the same issues as boxing has regarding judging. Because to me, the Thug Rose fight was very, very close, and I thought it went the correct way, and I thought it was scored correctly. In the case of Max Holloway, it was clear 3-2 to me. That, Holloway had the first 3 rounds, and I thought Volkanovski had the last 2. Mm-hmm. Everybody in America had that. Dana did a press conference afterwards, and asked the reporters themselves. He goes, did anybody have Volkanovski winning this fight?
Yeah.
Not one reporter raised their hand.
Yeah.
And he goes, great, we've got to do something about the judging. The fact that even Dana White himself doesn't have control over the judging is crazy to me.
Who does control that? Is it the Gaming Commission that controls that
Yes.
stuff? Why? Why? So you have this is crazy to me. So you go into a state, whatever state it is, New York, New Jersey, Las Vegas, Florida, or not Las Vegas, but Nevada, Florida, and there's some organization that some like government organization that tells you whether or not you can have a fucking sport. Really? And then you have to abide by their rules? Get fucked, motherfucker. And what other situation is that the case? Like, look, obviously you can't sell fucking coffee that gives people AIDS or something. You know what I mean? But you don't have to fucking call the FDA when you start a new coffee company or when you start a new product of some sort like that. You file business permits, to operate and do business and pay taxes. But nobody gets to come in and tell you how to run your fucking day-to-day business like that. That's fucked up. Like, why does that make sense? What does the government know about fighting and entertainment and business that they can fucking tell Dana goddamn White? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I don't understand it. And I was super pissed about the decision, not only because both of us picked Holloway on the show, but a lot of people lost a lot of money. But look, that's, in my opinion, that is the second fight in a row against Volkanovski that he has won. Yeah. And I don't know what it is about the two of them fighting or that style. Because I was trying to think about it afterwards. I was like, I don't understand how the judges keep getting this wrong. Is it because Holloway's a foot taller and he looks 90 pounds skinnier? I don't know. Is it the way that Volkanovski lands because he's so short and stocky that seems more appealing to the judges? I'm not sure. They've got to get it the fuck right. And they asked him about a three-peat on it, and Dana White was like, look, it is something we are going to consider, and certainly Holloway deserves it. To my knowledge, he hasn't come out and said anything about it yet, but I'm expecting later on down the road we will hear something about it. And Dana White's always good about this shit. He'll probably do a make good on it, and I'm sure we're going to get a third fight because I would like to see it. It was a great fight. They just got the score wrong. I thought the Thug Rose fight was a great fight that I enjoyed. That Jorge Masvidal Usman fight was god awful, and it wasn't because of Street Jesus at all. I don't know anyone who can get hugged that long. I know you weren't as a child. I wasn't either. And their feet stomped on over and over again, and make that an appealing and attractive fighting style. And if Usman's going to bitch about whatever his next payday is going to be in his next fight, no, it's because that show you put on in the ring on fucking or in the octagon on Saturday nights was boring as shit. This is entertainment, like Dan said. This is not who can just win. It is who is the most entertaining. And when we finished that card on Saturday night, I miss McGregor because all I kept thinking was, it's your first fight on Fight Island. If you would have put Street Jesus and McGregor together, fucking one of them is getting knocked out, it would have been fucking bombs away and the most entertaining shit of all time. That was a snooze fest. I was calling him Snoozemon on the message boards afterwards on Drinkin Bros Sports on Facebook because it was so goddamn boring. Did I win money? Yes, because I bet on Usman. Was it fun to watch? No. And it wasn't worth the money for pay-per-view, to be honest with you, because they've been going 1 week on, 1 week off with pay-per-view and then free fights on ESPN Plus, if you have the $5 subscription. And it's been great. Thank you, Dana White, for giving us some sports to watch every single weekend. It has been phenomenal. However, that fight was a complete dud. I have no interest to watch Usman fight ever again in my entire life. He is now in the category with Mayweather in boxing and Khabib for me. I just can't watch that style of fighting. I don't enjoy it. A lot of people made fun of the BMF belt, the bad motherfucker belt. Those are the people I want to see fight. I want to see Street Jesus. I want to see Nate Diaz. I want to see Conor McGregor. I want to see people swinging for the fucking fences. Gagey, I want to see that motherfucker fight. That is what I'm interested in. I am no longer interested in seeing these boring fighters where they're like, oh man, even Anik afterwards. And we love John Anik on the show. But even afterwards, he should have just asked him, hey, man, is this style of fighting appealing to an audience, like a mass audience? Because I don't know how you book that as a mega fight again.
No, I wouldn't.
And expect people to pay for it.
If that's the headliner, there's a 0% chance I'm buying that fight.
Zero.
There's literally I don't know that there's an undercard they could put together that would make me fucking buy that fight. With regard to Anik, he's the play-by-play. He's not the color guy. That's not his job.
No. But afterwards, so he's doing all the interviews after the fights. I'm assuming, by the way, that Joe Rogan just refused to go halfway around the world and isolate himself for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people wrote in from Drinkin Bros and they said, hey, man, why isn't Rogan calling this fight with Anik? My assumption is because they're in Abu Dhabi, and I believe you have to be quarantined there for 6 weeks. So that's a long time away from, the most successful podcast there is right now in his family and all that stuff. But yeah, so Anik was doing the after fight interviews. And surprisingly enough, he didn't ask Volkanovski if he won the fight because he did not. So that was kind of crazy to me.
I wonder if though, like if you're a fighter, if you're absolutely dominating the match, you can tell. But if it's like 30-29, can you really tell that you won that fight? Honestly, I don't know if that's possible or not.
He thought he won, which was shocking to me. Yeah, but usually you're like when fighters know, they always give this stock standard line of, well, it could have gone either way with the judges.
Yeah,
he didn't even say that. He was just like, no, I fucking beat him, and it was like, huh. Well, we watching the same fight that night.
Well, either way, whatever his next fight is, I definitely won't be watching that. It's boring as shit. Not Volkanovski, but Usman.
Usman, yeah.
Yeah, he... Man, people get there. I think they just don't understand marketing. Like, LeBron James and his whole crew need to start representing UFC guys and teach them how to fucking make a brand. Because regardless of what you believe or how you feel about LeBron James, he's the best that's ever done that. In the history of professional sports, he's the best ever at creating a brand to sell shit. Like Jordan was the first guy to do it, and LeBron is right now worth about fucking 15 times what Jordan was at his age, and it's only going to get bigger. Like he's going to be multi-billionaire. I would say right now, I bet LeBron James' net worth is probably somewhere in the $2.5 to $3 billion range, just from all the assets and stuff that he owns, and the production companies and the future deals. That fucking lifetime deal with Nike that sheds that gives him points on the company and shit like that. Like I really would like to see. I know he's doing his guys are doing some agency work now, right?
They are. So his agent Rich Paul owns he's got his own agency. I think it's called Maverick or something. But they've got all those guys. They've got Anthony Davis, and look, they're churning out huge athletes there. LeBron is a businessman, is in a brand ambassador for himself and his buddies. Is great. I don't enjoy LeBron as a basketball player, but you're right. At creating a brand, he is the very best doing it right now. Some say he cares about his brand too much, including myself. Wink, wink. But yes, if you're looking at the LeBron model and the agency models, look, you should be telling your clients, hey, man, you've got to do X, Y, and Z to make X amount of dollars, or congratulations, you're just, you're going to end up like Cejudo, where you're not making money, but you're a champion forever. And then it's just, you're pissed off that nobody's going to come and watch you.
Conor McGregor's won one fight since 2016.
Yeah.
And it was against Cowboy. And look, let's be honest. Cowboy's a fucking competitor, but he's not in the same class at this point that McGregor is. He just beat up on him, and it didn't take very long to do it. But still, if Conor McGregor's the headliner right now, people will go out and buy that right now. That's why 100%. He gets paid. That's Henry Cejudo. That's why he gets paid. Usman, when you start bitching in 3 or 4 months about your next payday, that's why he gets paid and you don't. So just shut the fuck up.
I agree, and I'll give it to Street Jesus, because look, a lot of our listeners came down on me for picking Usman in that fight. I knew it was going to happen. There's too much weight to cut. He looked exhausted. Clearly, you could see it in between rounds. Yeah. I saw it at the weigh-in when he weighed in buck naked, and they had to hold the towel up, and he looked gaunt and dehydrated.
Yeah,
I knew he wasn't going to win that fight. I hammered the under on it. I lost on that because I didn't think at all he would make 5 rounds.
That just shows you how much of a fucking competitor that guy is.
Exactly. He's a fucking animal, dude.
Yeah. And and he's another one. Maybe he's not really necessarily the kind of guy that's always going to get headlining fucking events at major UFC stuff. But if he's on the ticket, I'm paying and I'm watching him fight.
Same.
So why
every
is he
single
not getting
time.
paid? He should be getting paid just based on that. That's what UFC on their pay-per-view through ESPN Plus now should do a Heidi How did you hear about us kind of thing, but it's a survey. What made you decide to buy this? And whichever fucking athlete gets the most clicks gets the most motherfucking money, bitch, because that's why people are showing up. Maybe not for that fight, but for the next fight, you got to pay that dude because people came to watch him fight, or that woman. And I think a lot of women that are into UFC, and particularly younger women who are looking to get into it as a career, are tuning in to watch people like Rose fight. And obviously there's another female fighter that everybody knows about that just destroys anybody that fucking walks anywhere near her. So I don't want to leave her out of that. I'm just saying.
Amanda Nunes is the best in the business. She's a blast to watch. Like I'll pay for that.
Yeah.
I will absolutely pay for a Nunes fight every single day. But you need more of those guys. I'm excited for that Stipe Cormier fight that's coming up at least. I enjoy both of their personalities, and I think that'll be a pretty good fight. It's going to be Cormier's last fight. So I'm amped about that, but they've got to find some new stars or find a way to get these stars to fight each other again. After Saturday night, I'd love to see Street Jesus against McGregor. I'd love to see a McGregor-Diaz trilogy. I'd love to see a rematch between Street Jesus and Diaz. Give me any one of those guys in any capacity, and I'm all in. I will just never pay for an Usman fight again.
No, not at all. And he's among many. He is among many guys who have held belts that I just don't give a fuck about. There have been these guys who carried water and made UFC what it is today. Guys like obviously Gracie in the beginning, but then other dudes stepped up, like our God, what's his name? Like Randy and Randy Couture.
Oh yeah, Randy Couture. Look, there's been some mega stars over the years. Kevin Randleman was a fucking blast to watch. The Gracies were a blast to watch.
Matt Hughes.
I'm not, and even watching Gagey fight, like there is not a shortage of stars, but it's the guys on top right now that are the champions where you're just like, shit, man. I would love to see Khabib get taken out. I would love to see Usman getting taken out, and I would love to see some bigger superstars in there who are willing to take on the role of, not only a personality but social media.
But it's been like, I mean, you have to be both. It's not like in the NBA. Obviously, it's about winning championships. So as a player, you can go out and fucking make $25-30 million a year if you're only a great player, like Kawhi Leonard, for example. He doesn't do any fucking press. He's retarded, man. It's not that he's retarded. He's actually, if you listen to him talk, outside of all the weird idiosyncrasies, he's a super smart guy. But he doesn't care about it's not that he doesn't like it, probably. He just doesn't give a fuck about communicating with other human beings. He doesn't care about that. So he's never going to have a huge fucking Nike campaign. He's not going to sign a lifelong contract worth hundreds of millions of dollars. This is not who he is as a person. But he's going to make a fuck ton of money in the NBA, the same as an NFL player or a Major League Baseball player or a hockey player or any of those other sports would do. Golf, any of those other sports. This is not any of those other sports. It's a blend between fighting, winning, and fucking being entertaining. And if you can't do both, then you're never going to make it. You might make it. You may win the fucking belt and hold it for 30 years, but you're never going to get rich doing that shit. So, and that's the fucking point. So Jordan was able to fucking turn his shit into shit off the court. It doesn't work that way in MMA necessarily. Like you can do that. You can get sponsorships. Yes. What I mean when I say it doesn't work that way is you have to do both. How many people were tuning in to watch Matt Hughes' next fight, to watch fucking Randy Couture's next fight, to watch Anderson Silva's next fight? He won 11 straight title defenses. Everybody was fucking buying pay-per-views because they wanted to see who Andy was going to beat up next. And that was all it was about. Like, that whole fight was just about how fucking long is this person going to be able to last in the ring with one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen. And for a while it was John Jones like that. Maybe it still is to some degree. But now, man, I don't know what people are looking forward to. I look forward to the down ballot guys that are going to fucking wreck each other now. Which superstars are you fucking clamoring to see right now? Other than Conor McGregor, if you still consider him a superstar.
Yeah, left in MMA, I'd say Gagey is up there for me. I want to see the Stipe Cormier fight just because it's interesting, but they're kind of the last of the dying breed. Francis Ngannou, fuck, I love watching that guy fight. So
yeah, but he's not he's not considered a superstar.
Not yet. I think he will be if he gets.
Like, isn't he 34 years old?
I'm not sure actually. But either way, I enjoy watching him fight. But yes,
33.
he's not a superstar. He could be. We'll see what happens.
I just can't think of one. Hold on, let me look at all the belt holders right quick.
Yeah, I just mean from a general standpoint of who's champion now.
Yeah.
In most of these classes, like I'm not amped about their style of fighting.
Stipe, it's hit or miss with him. Maybe good, maybe bad. But I would tune in for that one. John Jones the same. I would tune in for that.
I don't see it. John Jones is in that camp to me. John Jones is not interesting enough for me to pay for anymore. It is all defense. Yes, he is skilled. Yes, he will win. It is all defense, and I don't enjoy his style of fighting. So you can lump him in with Usman for me.
His last couple have been pretty rough. And then there's Israel Adesanya. He's pretty entertaining usually.
Yeah.
But then there's Usman, Khabib, Volkanovski, Peter Yan, who we saw fight again this weekend.
And that was exciting. Like, he's great. I just don't know too much about him.
Yeah.
But he kicked the shit out of Jose Aldo. And
yeah.
So he could be something. You never know. But he was fun to watch.
And then the last one is Henry Cejudo's vacant belt. And then you have Amanda Nunes at the top, the featherweight bantamweight, and the women's. Everybody wants.
She's great. And then you got Thug Rose, and she's great. So
yeah, but she's not a belt holder.
No, but there are stars out there, and they're on the rise. But I would like to see more of them become champion, I guess, is the end of my rant for that. But I'm glad everybody got paid on my bookie over the weekend. Promo code Drinkin Bros will get you 150% of that deposit back. We'll be doing the fights for not this weekend, but the weekend after. There's not a ton of big names this weekend. Therefore, it's like a lot of these guys are coin tosses. Therefore, I'm not going to tell you to spend your American dollars on it. But we will get to some NBA action here, and we got breaking news. Russell Westbrook has tested for the Rona. He's got coronavirus, so he's going to be quarantined for 14 days and then be able to rejoin the team in Orlando. Today is July 13th. We're recording this one on a Monday, so looking at the 14-day rule, he should be there by the start of the NBA.
Yeah, you think so?
If it's going to happen. So far, to my knowledge, Dan, unless you've heard otherwise, everybody is inside the bubble now at this point and working out, playing games. So far, so good, except for the food. There has been a lot of pictures of what the food looks like. Rajon Rondo, who is also breaking news, he is out for 6 to 8 weeks with a broken thumb. He's going to have surgery. He might be back for the playoffs if the Lakers make a deep run. But now they're starting to get short on bench people here. He as well said the food is very Motel 6-ish. And I looked at it. It kind of looks like Firefest food.
Yeah, it didn't look great. I mean, you would think that the NBA or the teams or somebody would have had a plan for this, right? What did you think was going to happen? You're going to put fucking 15 professional athletes from your team out on an island without any access to go out and do their own normal shit, which is to say get meal prep delivered or whatever their fucking nutrition schedule happens to be. And
right.
You just do what you were just going to rely on fucking Disney to do it with that shitbag food? Are you fucking kidding me? You think these guys can operate at the level they need to operate at with that nutrition? Like that? Seriously? Nobody fucking thought of this? No one? Jesus Christ.
When I looked at it.
They were too busy fucking figuring out what to put on the back of their jersey. By the way, LeBron James, it's going to be his own name.
Yep, and so is Anthony Davis, too, of the Lakers. And as well it should be. I like that move by the two of those guys. Like, but the hilarious part is all I kept thinking when I saw the pictures of their meals is if you go to their social media accounts or Twitter, you can see the meals they're eating. I've been out to dinner with you 1,000 times, Dan. You would need 5 of these meals to get full just at lunch for you. I can't even imagine an NBA player trying to live off this. There's a couple of them that said, hey, we're worried about losing weight because of this food. But allegedly they are going to change it, and they're swapping out restaurants and everything else. So it was just to get them inside, not to go hard on the NBA, because the rest of the players who have commented about being inside the bubble said they're having fun. And then it seems like a blast. And then it reminds them of playing AAU. and they said they were all used to this schedule, all used to sleeping in quarters like this back in the day. And they're for the most part having a pretty goddamn good time about it. We've seen some cameras there, and I can only imagine they're going to document this experience, because it is definitely hopefully a once in a lifetime type of deal here. But I'm hesitant, because I said a few weeks ago that the NBA would definitely be canceled. The Russell Westbrook thing is what I was worried about happening. Now, if this happens in the playoffs to a Russell Westbrook or a James Harden, Westbrook's not going to get it again, or LeBron James, what do you do? And then what is that title going to look like? And is there going to be some form of asterisk if a player isn't able to play for 14 days?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure, man. And I can imagine Adam Silver this morning waking up and hearing that one of the biggest superstars in the league has coronavirus is his worst fucking nightmare. But that's kind of the risk that everyone is taking right now. And I'm not sure how this is going to shake out. I hope it does, because we need sports. I hope Major League Baseball and NHL and basketball resumes. Please don't think that just because I said that on the show that I don't want sports. I want sports more than fucking life itself. But this is what I was worried about. It's a great case sample. We'll see if they can actually do it. On the football side of things, the Patriot League, Dan, which is your favorite, they have canceled just now all of their sports for the fall. So down goes another conference here.
Yeah. Well, not a real one, but
no, not a real one. But hey, Army's there. So they've excluded, and I'm reading it off of here. They've excluded Army from this, so they're able to free up and go play and do whatever they want. And I believe Air Force. There's another.
No, I think isn't Air Force in the American Conference or the Independent, whatever Notre Dame is in.
Yeah, you might be right on that one. But I know Army has an exclusion.
Air Force is in Mountain West, actually. Wow. That's actually kind of a
Well, it makes sense. They're in Colorado.
Yeah, and they're also better at football than the other military academies. Obviously, Army hasn't had a quarterback ever.
Yeah, so it says the Patriot League teams will not engage in any competition in the fall season, championship and non-championship. Decisions surrounding winter and spring sports competition will be made at a later date. Because the United States Military Academy and the United States Naval Academy, so Navy was the other one, forgive me, are unique to their environments and their missions with higher education, the Council of Presidents agrees that the academies may continue to engage in competitive opportunities as considered appropriate by their respective superintendents. I don't think it's going to matter anyways. I think we're still being set up for an all-conference in-conference schedule for the spring.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's going to happen, to be honest. I mean, again, I go back to the same thing with all these sports. It's going to be, what is your tolerance for positive tests? If it's zero, then there's a 0% chance that you're going to play your season. Like if there's a zero, like, because everybody, it doesn't matter unless you test these guys every single day, like literally every single day, and make sure that everything is sterile coming in and out of that building, including the employees who I assume have to go home at some point, right? Like we talk about, the players are quarantined there for sure. But what about the people that are servicing them? They're not making their own beds and doing their own fucking laundry and making their own food and shit. There are other human beings. Are they also quarantined? Because if not, then this is all bullshit, dude. I mean, what the fuck? You really expect a goddamn Disney employee that makes like $50,000 a year to go home and sit in their fucking house with their thumb up their ass and then go work for 8 hours, then come home and just do that for 40 hours a week and spend the other fucking, 83 hours a week or 84 hours a week doing nothing? Wait, 168. 88 hours a week. Like, seriously, is that the expectation here? Is it really? Because, I mean, they didn't think about feeding some of the best athletes on the planet. So maybe they missed this one too. Like, I'm sure there's some kind of fucking plan for that, but unless your tolerance for people getting COVID is higher than zero, then it's just not going to happen.
I agree. And look, hopefully the NBA and the NHL and these guys make it through. Some players go down and then recover. Maybe the recovery process is faster because of their testing. We'll see, but I hope it goes down. But it's everybody in the Patriot League. All right, R.I.P. to you guys. I know there's a lot of listeners that are Lehigh fans, Lehigh Mountain Hawks, and or Lafayette Leopards, the Holy Cross Crusaders won't be playing. Shit, Holy Cross is usually pretty decent in basketball, actually. Bucknell is in that division. Army, Colgate's is there. And then the Georgetown Hoyas football team, which was unaware they had one. Boston University is in there. Loyola Greyhounds. I wonder if fall includes hockey, because usually BU and usually BU is pretty fucking locked in, man, for the Frozen Four, but they could play that later. I'm not sure. But those guys are out for the fall, and we'll see what happens. Ohio State, quick update on their program. They still didn't release how many people got sick. They were the ones who pulled 7 teams off the field last week mid-practice because of COVID testing, the results specifically, and they did not say what those numbers were. I kind of like the fact that colleges are keeping this close to the vest, because they're really trying to fucking play.
Yeah, I mean, look, this would not be the first time that a major university has put children essentially at risk so they can make money. Come on. Obviously, college wants this to happen. I think in the NFL, I don't think the owners give a fuck, to be honest. I think at the NFL level, you're more worried about liability than you are about actually playing the games. I think at the college level, particularly the ADs and the fucking boosters, are like, no, we're playing fucking football. I gave you $4 million for a new building this year, and I was expecting kickbacks from that bitch.
Well, they're not getting any, but we'll see what happens here. The breaking news also is Washington is going to retire the name the Washington Redskins. Finally, that has been about 10 years. People have been fighting this one. They have not announced a new team name yet. However, Dan, you were in the trademark business and you're familiar with it. All of the cool names that have been pitched by fans or athletes or everybody else seems to be trademarked already, and they're worried about finding a name to replace the Redskins that isn't trademarked.
Well, they're not going to find one that's not trademarked. So I think, here's my guess. I bet one dude bought all those trademarks. Red Tails, Red Tail Fighters, Red Tail Pilots, like any combination of any of that bullshit. What do you call it? The Senators, again, probably, because that one's out there. It's owned by, I think the Washington Senators logo is owned by the Texas Rangers. Am I right about that?
I believe so, yes.
I think they still own that. But anyways, we'll see how that goes. But that one is one that they couldn't get. But somebody posted a list of all the names that have been suggested, and literally every single one of them is trademarked. Yeah, just pay for it, man. Just shut the fuck up. You're a billionaire, Dan Snyder. Just pay for it. Like, yeah, and I also back before we get into the whole logistical part of it, I don't give two fucks about whether they change the name or not. Frankly, like I've seen both of these. I've seen like multiple arguments. People that just don't care and don't care if it offends people or not, which is fine. I mean, whatever. You can be a dick if you want. Then there's all the people have the natives in the area around Northern Virginia and D.C. have been polled numerous times about this. They don't seem to give a shit. Like they literally couldn't care less about this. So I don't know how to feel about that. Like I hate that idea that I'm being offended on somebody else's behalf or trying to presume that somebody's too weak to see words in print that it's going to hurt them or whatever the fuck. I don't like that, but this does seem like Redskin is absolutely a slur. There's no question about that. Mm-hmm. I don't think it still carries the weight of something like the N-word or something like that, obviously, because we say it out loud every day, but it's still technically a slur. Like the team name, the Braves, is talking about Native American soldiers, and Brave is an honorific. It's a title of honor. Like that you become a Brave when you fucking fight in combat. I like that. That's something that honors their team or honors the race, if you want to call them that. I don't know what Redskins really does except for exist for this long. I think that's pretty much all it's done. Right. But again, I don't care if they change it or not, but it better be something fucking cool. Right?
Yeah.
Like the logo's got to look dope. It better be something cool. Otherwise, people are just going to fucking just drag them for years.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. I'm not holding my breath there. Dan Schneider's never been the coolest guy in the room, so we'll see.
Well, hopefully
we
it's
got
not him making the decision.
yeah. We get some sponsors to pay for this whole shit wagon to be on the air. First and foremost is our chief sponsor. By the way, when I say chief sponsor, that is no derogatory term for any Indian whatsoever. That is just our main sponsor, hombre. KillcliffCBD.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros gets you 20% off a case and free shipping. The only drinkable CBD on the planet you should trust. 25 milligrams in every single can. You will not piss hot. There is no THC in any of these cans. KillcliffCBD.com is the best in the business. It's become the summer drink, man. Everybody's mixing this with vodka. I drink a can before I go to bed every night. Some asshole made a comment on iTunes under a review.
Yeah.
I just said, man, fuck Ross, dude. He doesn't have to say he drinks a can of this shit every night. I'm not saying it to get you to buy it. I'm saying it because I actually do it. I love these goddamn things. I can tell you my whole fucking routine every single day. Wake up with some Black Rifle coffee. Boom. Get that in the system. Then I have some Liquid IV in about a 16-ounce thing. A little bit of Strike Force in the afternoon. Then at night to unwind, I have some KillcliffCBD.com. It's my whole schedule throughout the day. I try to mix in a gallon of water. Sometimes I'm good at it. Sometimes I'm not. But I like shit in it. I just don't like drinking plain water as is. I think because a kid growing up in Georgia, we were always mixing shit like either Kool-Aid or fucking Gatorade packets. You remember those Gatorade packets, Dan?
Yeah, they were disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting. And then you would see usually an assistant coach with his hand in there, just kind of swishing up the whole goddamn big bowl. But with KillcliffCBD.com, you don't have to do any of that. Shit comes in the can. It's drinkable. It's ready to go. There's only like, I think 15 calories in the whole goddamn can. 3 amazing flavors: grape, orange kush, and mango. Best in the biz. This will change your life. If you've got any aches or pains or any of that shit, man, it is nice to kick back with a Killcliff CBD at night. Throw a little vodka in there. You are good to go for the summer. Go to KillcliffCBD.com today. Promo code Drinkin Bros, 20% off and free shipping. Next up, we got MyBookie.com. Everybody was winning money this weekend, us included. Look, even though Street Jesus is one of my favorites, I had to bet on fucking Usman. Those were the rules. Dan, you ended up going 4-2, so it wasn't like it was fucking terrible.
No, I did all right. I just lost ones that I didn't think I should have lost, but whatever.
Yeah, I was 5-2 because I picked that Amanda Rebus chick, and it was great. I hammered the under on that fucking fight. Good for Jorge Masvidal for sticking that out for 5 rounds. Guy's a fucking beast.
Yeah, it's one of those times where even hedging your bet didn't work out because I did. Like I felt the same way. He is either going to come out and fuck this dude up or he's going to be done. Like
I parlayed it too, man, and I lost that parlay. I thought for sure that guy's a beast, and I can't wait to see him come back at full strength. 6 days fight, losing 20 pounds in 2 days, fucking crazy. Go to mybookie.com, type in the promo code Drinkin Bros. It'll get you 150% of your deposit back. Put in 100, you'll wake up with 150 in your account. That's where we're betting on all this shit all year round, and we're amped about it. Tiger Woods is going to play in the Memorial. So, yes, I'll be betting on golf again really goddamn soon, and I'm amped about it.
Somebody needs to make an app where you can bet on golf, like hole to hole, like every fucking hole you can bet on.
Yeah, you know what's funny, man? There was they're working on. I know MyBookie is working on betting fights in between rounds. So if you're fast enough on there, like one of them, there was somebody at this viewing party that I was at on Saturday night who was using something, and he was going through the odds every 10 seconds, and I was like, shit, it's a whole new world, and the gambling world itself is going to change as soon as everything gets back to normal, and there's some cool shit coming out. We're excited to be with mybookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros will get you 150% of your deposit back. Next up, we got ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. Finest mattresses in the biz. Their 4th of July sale is still going on. 30% off of bundle packages. That's adjustable bases, sheets, pillows, covers, you name it. You can bundle that together for 30% off, or you can get 25% off everything in the entire store. And if you get a mattress, you get 2 free pillows with it. And I can promise you, the beds are just as goddamn delightful as the mattress. As always, at ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros, they got a motherfucking 36-month pay-as-you-go program, no interest on it. And I'm amped about it, man. It knocks all that shit down about $30 a month. I'm getting the new cooling mattress. That is the new shit. That is getting shipped to my house, I think, on Thursday. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros today and enjoy their mattresses. D'Anthony, since we're on the topic here before we switch gears with the rest of sports, I got a nasty little rumor I heard at this party on Saturday night.
Oh yeah, rumor about whom?
About Mr. Joe Rogan. Obviously, we're fans of Joe Rogan and fans of his show. Love the new move over to Spotify. We're gigantic fans of Spotify as well. There was 2 people at this party that I was at Saturday, saying that he was here for a little over a week with realtors looking at houses. So, could Joe Rogan be on the move to Austin? Possibly, but I did get confirmation he was here looking at houses.
Yeah, maybe he's just in the real estate market, but
could be. Look, Austin's number 1 in the world in the United States for real estate right now. So that could be.
Of all the places he's thinking about moving, because he's been open about wanting to leave California, I think that Austin probably makes the most sense, given his personality. Like, he wants to own guns, he wants to go hunting when he wants to. Not a big fan of overreach, but he also has probably leans left on identity politics for the most part, which is pretty normal for Austin. And considering the job he does, there's a lot of it's the reason we're moving there. It's a lot of production capability there, so it would make sense if he's moving there. I would believe that.
And there's about 60 breweries in the area. One of the Drinkin Bros, who I'm actually going to give Drinkin Bro of the week at the end of the show, Austin Talley. We'll talk about him in a moment. He took me out to Twisted X Brewery, and man, that place was fucking fantastic. Bars and restaurants are getting ready to shut down here again this week, but Twisted X Brewery is the jam. So I think that could be our new spot. I know whenever anybody was in Wilmington, it was like, hey, come to Wilmington Brewery. But Twisted X Brewery is the new dope jam, dude. Really enjoyed their beers, and I'm enjoying Austin, Texas. RPR wasn't live today because we got kicked out of the studio, D'Anthony. We had some liberal shit going down today.
What happened?
They were not happy that they said I had a refusal to wear mask in the studio, Jessie and I. They said they would no longer enjoy our business.
That's real sad.
I was disallowed.
Sad story.
Jessie and I were disallowed. The hilarious thing about it was we weren't 6 feet apart. Him and his fucking editor weren't 6 feet apart either. And it's just like, man, if you're gonna fucking throw stones here, let's not live in a glass house, because that was fucked up, bro. Observe all the rules, not just the mask. But I think the election is definitely coming down to it. Speaking of which, I'm going to get to the point of this. The NFL is saying that they're going to have a new mask on their helmets.
Oakley's working on it, right?
It's called an Oakley mouth shield.
Well, Oakley is the company, I imagine.
Correct. But this specific product is the Oakley mouth shield to combat coronavirus. And they said that this product that is designed by Oakley in collaborations with doctors and engineers for the NFL and the NFL Players Association to mitigate itself from the spread of the virus in the field of play, is expected to be distributed to all 32 teams over the next week. And they're going to kind of give that a test drive.
Can't wait. The entire league is going to go full Antonio Brown on this helmet.
Apparently.
I'm looking at it right now. It covers your entire fucking face. There's no way they're going to play with this. No way. That's
why I wanted to get your thoughts on this, because this is just coming into the show right now. I'm looking at this goddamn thing. I get it, man. I want to see sports just as much as the next guy. Is that because there's holes down where you breathe? I'm looking at the mask right now online.
Well, I mean, look, any coverage is better than no coverage, I guess, is maybe what they're thinking. But
I guess, but you're still going to be breathing and sweating on people. Well, you don't wear your helmet the entire game. You typically take it off when you go to the sidelines.
Yeah, everyone's going to take it off as soon as they get to the sideline. They're going to fucking dump water in their mouth and spit it out on the ground. They're going to do the same shit they've always done. Like from baseball, spring training 2.0, one of the things I've heard most is that they're not supposed to be spitting one of the things I've heard most is like, yeah, that's not going to work out. Spitting is like fucking walking or tying your shoes or anything like that. It's just something you do without even thinking about it at that point. After decades of being on a baseball field for 3 to 6 months out of the year, there's no fucking way you're going to automatically in a couple of fucking weeks retrain guys not to do that anymore. It's just not how that fucking works. And you really think, like, honestly, just go to YouTube and go on a deep dive. Just watch sideline behavior. And tell me that these fucking dumbass I mean, it might stop one team from transmitting it to the other team.
Yeah.
I guess, but what the fuck, man? That's not, oh, God.
My favorite was watching dirty-ass Lenny Dykstra in center field for the Phillies, and half of the outfield, because they were playing on AstroTurf back in the day in Philadelphia, half of that AstroTurf, by the time he was done with one game, was covered in fucking chew. That motherfucker used to put a gangster wad in his
he and
jaw.
that whole Phillies crew, it was him, Darren Dalton, John Kruk. They all fucking got cancer, I think, every single one of them.
I think so, except for Lenny Dykstra. He ended up going to jail instead.
Isn't he dead?
No, Lenny Dykstra is alive, and his son is married to Meadow Soprano, actually.
Oh, isn't she dead?
No, they're all alive.
No, she's got like some kind of fucking blood disease or some shit.
Yes, she's got a disease, but they're still all alive, Dan. Don't start telling stories outside of school.
I don't care if they're alive or not. But Lenny Dykstra turned into a real fucking piece of shit when he got out of the fucking majors.
Yeah, he ended up making, $300 or $400 million in real estate deals. It turns out they were all a fraud.
Yeah.
And he ended up going to the pokey for a little bit.
Well, then
I enjoyed watching him play, though.
He was doing a lot of fucking crystal meth, too, I believe.
That's going to happen, though, when you're partying. Dan, one of the test cases for these Oakleys have been in the military. It says military personnel have been using the Oakley prism lens technology. Did you guys use this when you were in the military? Is this all new?
No, prism is just a type of lens. It's supposed to be anti-fog, I believe. And it also enhances color in the daytime, like it blocks out some of the UV from the sun so you can see better. But it's not going to stop. Like, there's no pair of glasses that will work that have your nostrils and your eyeballs in the same holes. You know what I mean? Because you fucking breathe out hot air and it's going to fog. It doesn't even matter if it fogs the lens up or not. It's going to fuck with your eyes over time. Like, you can't just sit there and huff and puff, especially guys that are sprinting over and over and over the course of a football drive, which is 90 seconds of actual gameplay to 8 minutes or something like that. But in reality, it's more like 4 to 15 minutes for a drive, like an actual time. Could be even longer than that. There's no way you can run up and down the field like that. I mean,
no, it's going to be tough, man. And I know players are going to bitch, and it's going to come down to, hey, man, are you going to wear this? Are you going to play? I'm still not sure what's going to happen. Like, states are wavering right now on bars and restaurants being shut down, cities being shut down entirely, and schools opening. I know in North Carolina that dickhead Governor Roy Cooper just announced that there was going to be a 1 week on, 2 weeks off for kids to go to school, which is the worst idea of all time.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make a decision here in Austin. There's a rumor they might shut the town down for 35 days so the kids can go back to school. I'm not sure what the fuck that's going to do either, to be honest with you. But all of this shit that they're trying out is a lot, man. I don't know. If I'm an NFL player, and there's a lot of NFL guys who've never played with a mask on, some form of mask. That takes getting used to, man. I don't even like wearing the goddamn thing to go to the grocery store. And I'm not an NFL player.
No, I mean, I don't mind wearing a facial mask, like a mouth covering, to be honest. I think it's mandating it is, that's problematic for me. I'm not into that. But I'm not going to not do it if I feel like I'm compromised, or I might be around fucking compromised people, because I don't really hang out with that many people. But if I'm going to be in a place where there's a bunch of fucking old dicks, and that's usually when I do my shopping, is like during the middle of the day when it's only old people in grocery stores. Yeah, I'll fucking throw on a mask. I don't think it actually helps anything, but it keeps old people from fucking freaking out. Not that I care about them. I don't like old people. I'm on the record about that.
You've been real vocal about that.
Yeah, we need you to go away. But it's not even about that being an inconvenience. This is their job. Like, you still have to be able to do your job. Your entire life depends on it. If you are a receiver and this is a contract year for you, for example, and you had a really good year in 2019, and you think this thing is going to fuck you up, I think you should opt out. I don't think you should it's just like leaving college early. I don't think you should expose yourself to a year where you're going to have down numbers and risk the only major contract that you're ever going to be able to get, which is the case for most NFL guys. Usually it's one big-ass contract if you can stay in longer than 3 years. Personally, I wouldn't do it. I would sit out instead of putting up bad numbers because, and I know that sounds selfish to people sometimes, like, oh, it's a millionaire. How much richer can you get? A lot richer, motherfucker. And it's not just about, it's about getting the money that your fucking talent deserves. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, billionaires just keep that money. I never understood that. People talking about greedy players, motherfucker. The players had to fucking fight and sue and strike for all their fucking rights. All these billionaires did was start the team. You know what I mean? Like, you either want a fucking major league sports team or you don't, frankly. And I think a lot of these guys just want the fucking clout of it and not, it reminds me of the Clippers in the 1980s and 90s. They were the only team that were for a good stretch, especially in the early 90s to the early 2000s. They were the only NBA franchise that was profitable all of those years because they drafted fucking high, fucking played guys a couple years and then sold them off. They fucking made a shit ton of money doing it. They always had entertaining people there, but they never had any kind of dynastic quality because they didn't keep people around, but it was a business to them. I get it. You made money doing it, but the Clippers as a fucking fan base got sick of it and stopped going to watch games. Like, hey, if you're not going to put the effort in to win, we're not going to come watch. So finally, real human beings bought the team and started, actually putting talent on the floor. Eventually, all these teams are going to have to take that into consideration, right? Like, what's the product we're able to put out there, and is it even worth it at this point to put it out there? And I think the players have to make that decision for themselves as well.
Yeah, I agree. And again, all of this is happening hour by hour, I feel like, and we could do fucking 900 sports shows a week on all of this, to be honest with you. And we're looking at splitting off our sports show into a different feed in the fall, hopefully when sports continues to do that, because there's a million stories. The last one we want to close with today is Deshaun Jackson. Look, we're always quick to jump on people for making stupid decisions, making stupid remarks, but we're also quick to praise people if they fucking learn from their mistakes. And as Americans, that's what we should be doing, because people are going to make mistakes, myself included. Everybody, dude. We've all got skeletons and all said and done fucked up shit in the past, but it's how you change as a person moving forward. Deshaun Jackson made some derogatory comments about Jewish people last week. Today, he was on a Zoom call with a 94-year-old survivor of the Nazi concentration camp. And I'm going to say his name here. His name is Edward Mossberg. And on this Zoom, which was on Instagram Live, he invited Deshaun Jackson to come and visit Auschwitz, and he said he would do it. He said he was in, and he said it would be great to learn about that culture. He also apologized for his remarks last week and on the call with Mossberg, saying that I grew up in Los Angeles, and I never really spent any time with anyone from the Jewish community, and I didn't know much about their history. This has been a powerful experience for me to learn and educate myself. And I want to take the proper steps to let people know that I never intentionally had any hatred in my heart. I never wanted to put the Jewish community down, and I want to educate myself more and help bridge the gaps between all different cultures. The reason why we wanted to highlight this is exactly what you should be doing. And I, for one, I forgive Deshaun Jackson. I mean, shit, to reach out to a 94-year-old Holocaust survivor and do a full sit-down interview with him and try to learn more about the statements he made and everything else. Like, if everybody else did that instead of just talking about doing shit or releasing some fucking bullshit, stock standard response through a publicist, I think this actually changes the world and changes the way people think. So we want to give a shout out to Deshaun Jackson for that.
Yeah, it could be I mean, look, it's always humbling to find out that you're wrong about something, and no one really, unless you're a scientist doing experiments, and getting the nose out of the way, so to speak, from a data standpoint, you don't want to hear that you're wrong. You definitely don't want to hear that you've been wrong for a very long time, that you've organized your life in a lot of ways around the principle that is wrong. That's very difficult for people to believe. That's why it's hard to switch political parties or religion or whatever the fuck else. It's difficult for people to deal with that. So there is something admirable about just throwing yourself in the middle of it and not using there's a lot of ways he could have fucking got out of doing any of this. Just he could have had a PR team do all the work, or he could have done this or that. But, throwing yourself in the middle of it like that there's something admirable about that for sure.
For sure. And again, this is what should happen. Deshaun's personality on the field, I never thought in a million years he would do some shit like this, where he would actually reach out and try to make a difference and try to learn. But this was cool to see, man. And congratulations. I know he got off with a fine from the Eagles, and he probably didn't have to do any of this shit, to be honest with you. But he went out of his way to do it, and it was a pretty cool moment to see him talking to a 94-year-old Nazi concentration camp survivor today. Surreal. But we wanted to highlight it. And then quickly, before we were going on air, you had mentioned something about the Madden quarterback ratings coming out.
Yeah.
What was that? Because Carson Wentz is trending right now. We're fine with Mahomes being at 99. Obviously, he's the best in the biz. Read off that list if you can of the quarterbacks. Some of them were shocking.
Let's see. Mahomes obviously is number 1 at 99. Russell Wilson, number 2 at 97. And number 3 is Lamar Jackson at 94. I think by the end of this year, those two will probably flip-flop before Lamar Jackson breaks his hip. Drew Brees is number 4 at 93. Then Tom Brady at 90. This is overall rating, by the way.
Right.
And then Aaron Rodgers at 89. I think this is probably the first time he's ever been below 90 in his career.
Ooh. And they drafted a quarterback this year.
Yeah.
This is definitely not Aaron Rodgers' year.
I don't know. He hasn't really ever stepped up to the pressure before, so I don't see why he would start all of a sudden now when he's 34 years old, right? Jordan didn't win a championship until Pippen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers doesn't. He doesn't care about the people around him. When they first made that draft pick, by the way, I was like, wow, that's a big fuck you to him. And I felt some kind of way about that because I like Aaron Rodgers. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, wow, that's a very necessary fuck you to him. Like, hey, we fucking put weapons around you and you won't hand him the fucking ball off, Aaron. So you're not getting any more. We're going to start building for the future. That is exactly what that pick said to me. Am I wrong about that?
No, not at all. And, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Look, the rumor about Aaron Rodgers is that he's always coached that team anyways. And that this guy, LaFleur, who is his coach, was just, somebody he could puppet around.
Well, he's a bad coach then because they don't win. Number 7 is Matt Ryan. This is the one that I definitely don't agree with. He's at 87 overall. I think his last 2 seasons have been pretty damn good. Like, I don't know why you would decrease him all of a sudden, particularly when he's got – I mean, not that should matter for his individual rating, but he's going to have probably – look, all the fucking guys, if you ask all the receivers in the NFL, they will tell you that Julio Jones is the best receiver in the NFL. Personally, I think it's DeAndre Hopkins, but even DeAndre Hopkins says that it's Julio Jones. So I don't know what to think about that, but I'm very surprised to see Matt Ryan at an 87 here. That's really low.
Boy, as a Falcons fan – his numbers, by the way, if you look up Matt Ryan's numbers, they're fucking crazy. I mean, he's on his way to Hall of Fame numbers, but it's in the big moments that he's choked in the playoffs and then, obviously in the Super Bowl with some overthrows. I'm not even pin the whole Super Bowl on him. Obviously, we should have just handed off the fucking ball every goddamn play of the second half against the Patriots. But you can't really argue with his numbers. And, certainly on this, he's got Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones to throw to. Should have been CeeDee Lamb as well. With Falcons made another brilliant draft choice by looking past him.
He led the league in completions, and he even missed a game and led the league in completions. he threw 26 touchdown passes. That's not that great, but he was working with a broken squad all year. I don't know, man. I don't get it. I honestly, like, his QBR was up from the previous year, down obviously from his what do you call it, MVP year, but like his numbers were good. I don't know why the fuck he dropped like that all of a sudden. But anyways, that shit happens. There's always some kind of beef about this stuff. Number 8 is Deshaun Watson. He's at 86 overall. That seems kind of low too, but he's like super inconsistent, man. I mean, just like Dak Prescott, who's below him at 84. They're super inconsistent guys. They just don't fucking put the ball in the end zone.
I have one caveat to this fucking Deshaun Watson rating. I don't know if it's because he lost Hopkins. And I personally think Deshaun Watson is pretty consistent. Their offensive line has been garbage there. And he's basically forced to run for his life and then throw on the run every single time. I would be curious to see him behind a great offensive line and see if his numbers don't improve. I'm actually a Deshaun Watson fan. And I think he can be great. That line there in Houston, though, is spotty at best. Number 9 is what I have the problem with here. Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott is at number 9 here, Dan.
He's an 84 overall ranking, which is pretty low. I mean, I think he's better than that, to be honest. But and then Carson Wentz is, I guess 9 and 10 are basically the same because Carson Wentz is 10 and he's also 84 overall. But I don't know. I'd have to see all the other numbers because the overall rating is an algorithm based on all the other, like, throw power, accuracy, stamina, fucking running capability, agility, all that other bullshit. So I don't know really. And then they have it broken down for short, medium, and long pass on Madden. Pocket presence, awareness, scrambling ability, fucking throwing on the run. There's all sorts of stuff that goes into like an algorithm that generates this top level number. But I mean, from Prescott's, the only thing that I think is wrong with his game, well, I think it's two big things, but like he's not the best at reading progressions quickly. He like fucking pauses on stuff a lot, and he looks past a receiver and then goes back to him and throws sometimes, which is not a good thing.
Right.
And his balls to the outside are pretty inaccurate for the most part. Like if he's throwing outs and stuff like that, he goes high right all the time. But
sure,
everything else, like I feel like those are a matter of coaching and work in the gym and shit. Like you should be able to fix that shit. Everything else, he's a really talented guy. I think 84 is kind of low for him, don't you?
Yeah, and then they got Carson Wentz at 10, who's also an 84. So the two of them are tied. Now, look, I would take Carson Wentz all day. Carson Wentz has had some freakish injuries, and he, got knocked unconscious during the playoff game, which wasn't his fault. But I would rather have Carson Wentz on my team, me personally. But I'm okay with this list. Brady at 5 is still a little high at 90.
I thought he was going to be like
9,000 years old.
Something. Like, I think at 87, because he did not have a good year last year. He was like, it wasn't just the people he had around him. God, who did the piece? I think it was Jordan Schultz actually did the reporting on it. But you see a noticeable decline starting in week 6, I think, from even over what he was doing earlier in the season. 90 is way too high. But again, like you said, they should not be basing this on who's surrounding them, because that's not how a video game works. Like you could just trade him to another team, then he's still 90 because of the people around him. Doesn't make sense.
I agree, and for that reason, people will bitch about this forever. But we'll see. And every Cowboys fan who's watching the show live on YouTube, subscribe to Drinkin Bros podcast on YouTube if you have not already. It's probably saying to yourself, Ross, why are you so hard on Dak? You're wearing a Cowboys hat. Well, I am in Texas. Therefore, I'm wearing the Cowboys hat as I go out throughout the day. There's a ton of Cowboys fans, so much so that Dan and I opened up our own ticketing site, drinkinbrostickets.com. You will notice if you copy and paste the thumbnail, the Dallas Cowboys logo pops up. This is going to make the listeners very happy who love the Cowboys. The reason why that is that is the most searched team on the search engine is the Dallas Cowboys. So I will give you that. We have a ton of Dallas Cowboy fan listeners. You guys are diehard. Your jean shorts, your cool cigarettes, all of that is taken into account. But yeah, the most searched ticket on the search engine is what'll pop up and generate the thumbnail, and it is the Dallas Cowboys, Dan.
Yeah. Yeah, they have
a lot of fans, man.
A lot of fans everywhere. It doesn't matter where. It's almost like a standard under which you can plant a flag. Like if people that are new football fans typically gravitate, like there's a lot of people that didn't watch basketball before that became Warriors fans because they were exciting, fun to watch. I don't know what it is about the Cowboys that draws them in, to be honest. Maybe it's like the drama because it's like the show Dallas. I don't know. Because there's always some fucking stupid bullshit going on with their team there. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Maybe it was the cocaine and Super Bowls of the 90s, and then in the 2000s it's been something else. I don't know what the fuck people are still coming to watch for, to be honest. Like, they haven't won shit in a very long time. 1995.
I'm not sure either. But that is generated because of the most searched team, and it is the Dallas Cowboys on DrinkinBrosTickets.com. And then as soon as sports get back up and at them, head on over there. I know the Jacksonville Jaguars already announced that when the NFL season starts, they are going to be at 25% capacity, and they're going to sell tickets. So we'll see what happens as things get closer. Now's the point in the show. We get to the Drinkin Bro of the week. I'm going to give this to Austin Talley. He is the mayor of Austin. He is also the head admin in Drinkin Bros for the Austin, Texas chapter. He's been taking me around the last few days, and he hooked us up with a realtor to get a studio and all that other stuff. We are also doing the live show at his bar for the election. So that will be at his place. That is Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Ice House. I got a chance to check out the venue over the weekend. It's incredible. They are ready to rock for this. There was some misinformation that they got popped for a liquor dispute. Oddly enough, it was the bar across the street that was doing shit illegally, and theirs subsequently got popped, but it is not theirs. So they are good to go for that night. They have what appears to be an 80 or 90 or 90 inch TV out back as well. So that'll be right behind Dan and I throughout the coverage of the evening, and we'll be flipping back and forth between Fox and CNN. And everybody's already stoked about that. Got to check out that location over the weekend, and Austin has introduced us to some fine folk in the city. He was the very first person I ran into out here, and he's treated my wife and I so some of the great things of Austin, Texas, and we are amped to be here. So cheers to you, Austin. I had never met him in real life, and he's a great fucking dude. Great guy. D'Anthony, last question for you here before we get out of here. On the drive out, I'm still not terribly familiar with Austin. Obviously, we've been to San Antonio a million times for Black Rifle Coffee, and you used to work there. Promo code Drinkin Bros 20 on blackriflecoffee.com. With Austin, I was not aware that the city of Dallas was 3 hours away and the city of Houston was 3 hours away from Austin.
Yeah.
That being said, if you're choosing an NFL team to watch, that is your American dollars here that you're spending, who are you going to see this fall? Are you going to see the Texans or the Cowboys?
The Cowboys, obviously.
Okay.
For a ton of reasons. One, the stadium is way better. It's not even close. As a matter of fact, I don't think there is a stadium in professional sports that can compete with Jerry World at this point.
The one in Atlanta is pretty goddamn nice, man. That's definitely up there for me.
It would be. That's the only one that would even be close. So that's one reason. The other reason is I don't know. There's something weird going on in Houston. I don't know what it is. They just can't get their shit. They can never get their shit together. They're like, I mean, they would be lovable losers if they would just lose all the time, but they go fucking 8-7 or 8-8 or 7-9 every year. Some stupid shit like that when they should be a fucking 12-1 team. It's very frustrating to watch a team that you know should be winning games lose games. I don't like that. I don't think people in general like that. Like you want to tune in, even if you don't like the person. It having context and something making sense affects how it affects you. And a great team winning makes sense. A great team losing all the time, it's upsetting to people, even if you're not a fan of the team. Like you don't want to sit there and watch. You may like revel in the fact that they fucking lost. Like people hate on the Warriors. Every time they lose, there's like, yeah, fuck them. But like you wouldn't want to sit there and watch them lose. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think there's something psychological to that whole thing, and I don't like watching losers, and I think the Texans are losers.
We'll see. They were able to win one playoff game last year. It was mostly because Buffalo just literally handed them that fucking game. Yeah. But that's another story. I'm curious if David Johnson has a good year. Houston could be back. We'll see what happens. I'll lean the Cowboys as well.
They essentially traded fucking David Johnson for DeAndre Hopkins.
It's ridiculous.
Give me a fucking break.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I won't even watch out of principle because of that.
Yeah.
There's no way. Although they do have a pretty good receiver core still. They got Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, and Kenny Stills, and Kiki Cootie, Randall Cobb. They got a bunch, but still, I don't think that's a good thing. I think having a great receiver on your team that the defenses have to pay attention to changes the way the football game goes. And if you don't have that, it is a weakness, I believe. I think because of that, they have a weakness, and they couldn't afford to have any more weaknesses. They got too many already. So, no.
Yeah. So look, you heard it here first. When the season starts up, we'll be going to a Cowboys game instead of the Texans. I do enjoy the Texans Stadium. However, the last time I was there was for the Super Bowl when the Falcons blew the 28-3 lead. So I'm not in a rush to go back anytime soon. D'Anthony, it's a fun show. Go to Drinkin Bros on iTunes and rate the show a 5-star and write a quick review, and subscribe to Drinkin Bros podcast on YouTube. We're here with you every single day. Check out last night's episode. We had one of the gentlemen from SEAL Team on there from CBS.
Justin Melnick, yeah.
Melnick.
The other reason for the Cowboys is obviously CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Obviously.
God damn, that kid's gonna be a fucking superstar, man.
Yeah.
And
they have him and Amari Cooper lining up on opposite sides this year. That's what I want to see. I want to see that. I don't care if Dak can even get him the ball or not. I just want to see him run the routes. It's just gonna be
and they got Gallup as well, man. It could be a really fucking fun team. So we'll be at a Cowboys game.